Most men believe attraction is created by saying the right things, looking a certain way, or constantly proving their value. They believe that if they can become more successful, more charming, or more attentive, they will naturally become more desirable. While these qualities may attract attention, they rarely create deep admiration because attraction operates on a deeper psychological level. Throughout history, there has been one masculine quality that consistently separated ordinary men from those who left a lasting impression. It is not wealth, it is not status, it is not physical appearance. It is the ability to remain grounded within yourself, regardless of what is happening around you. Most people are controlled by external circumstances. Their mood changes based on how others treat them. Their confidence rises when they receive attention and disappears when they face rejection. Their sense of self constantly depends on validation from the outside world. This creates a hidden weakness, because when your emotional state is controlled by others, your power is no longer your own. People can feel this even when nothing is said. Human beings are naturally drawn toward those who possess inner stability. Someone who does not become desperate when ignored, someone who does not chase approval, someone who remains calm under pressure and maintains their direction regardless of obstacles. This quality communicates strength without words. It creates an invisible sense of security and certainty that others instinctively respect. In relationships, this becomes even more powerful. Many men unknowingly make attraction difficult by constantly seeking reassurance. They want immediate responses. They need constant confirmation. They become emotionally dependent on attention. The more they seek validation, the less attractive they often become, because true confidence is not displayed through constant action. It is revealed through self-control. The man who knows his worth does not need to advertise it. The man who trusts himself does not need everyone else to agree. And the man who remains centered in his own purpose possesses something far more valuable than attention. He possesses presence, and presence is often the first signal of the masculine quality that changes everything. Because before attraction can grow, respect must exist. And respect begins the moment a man no longer depends on the world to tell him who he is. One of the greatest misunderstandings about attraction is the belief that giving more always creates stronger connection. Most men assume that if they provide constant attention, endless availability, and continuous reassurance, they will become more important in a woman's life. At first, this seems logical. After all, in most areas of life, effort produces results. More work creates more success. More practice creates more skill. But attraction follows a different set of rules. The moment a man begins seeking validation rather than sharing his presence, the dynamic begins to change. Needing this is not simply wanting someone, it is needing someone to feel complete, and that difference is enormous. Human psychology is highly sensitive to emotional dependence. People naturally feel drawn to those who choose connection, not those who require it for their sense of worth. When a man constantly seeks reassurance, he unconsciously communicates uncertainty. He watches every message. He overanalyzes every interaction. He becomes emotionally affected by small changes in attention. Without realizing it, he places another person at the center of his emotional world. This creates pressure, because attraction thrives in freedom but weakens under emotional burden. No one wants to feel responsible for another person's confidence, happiness, or self-worth. The more someone appears dependent on approval, the less powerful their presence becomes. Ironically, many men become needy because they fear losing attraction. They believe that more attention will prevent distance, more messages will maintain interest, more effort will secure affection. Yet the opposite often occurs. The harder they try to hold on, the more they communicate fear, and fear is rarely attractive. True confidence is revealed through emotional independence. It is the ability to care deeply without losing yourself, to appreciate someone without placing them above your purpose, to enjoy connection without making it the source of your identity. This is why emotionally secure men often appear more attractive. They are not constantly seeking proof of their value. Their confidence exists before attention arrives and remains after attention disappears. That stability creates respect, and respect creates attraction, because the strongest presence in any room is rarely the person demanding attention. It is the person who knows their worth even when no one is looking. There is a reason some men command respect the moment they enter a room. They do not speak the loudest. They do not demand attention. They do not constantly try to impress others. Yet people notice them, not because of what they say, but because of what they do not reveal. This is the silent power of emotional control. Most people live at the mercy of their emotions. A compliment makes them feel powerful. A rejection makes them feel worthless. A delay in communication creates anxiety. A small disappointment changes their entire mood. Their emotional state is constantly influenced by external events. As a result, they become predictable. Others can easily determine what affects them, what triggers them, and where their weaknesses exist. But emotional control creates a different kind of power. It is the ability to experience emotions without becoming controlled by them. It does not mean suppressing feelings. It does not mean becoming cold or detached. It means maintaining authority over your actions, regardless of what you feel. Anyone can remain calm when life is easy. The true test of character appears when things do not go according to plan. When faced with rejection, when confronted with criticism, when experiencing uncertainty, most people react impulsively. They become defensive. They seek revenge. They attempt to regain control through emotional outbursts. But emotionally strong individuals understand something important. Every reaction reveals information. The moment another person can control your emotions, they gain influence over your behavior. This is why emotional control has always been associated with strength. It communicates that your inner state cannot be easily manipulated. In relationships, this quality becomes especially attractive. Many men unknowingly weaken their presence by reacting to every situation emotionally. A delayed text creates frustration. A disagreement becomes an argument. A misunderstanding turns into insecurity. Instead of responding with confidence, they react from fear. But emotional control creates space between feeling and action. Within that space lies power, the ability to pause, to think clearly, to choose a response rather than surrendering to an impulse. People naturally trust those who remain composed under pressure. They feel safe around individuals who do not become overwhelmed by every challenge. Because calmness signals stability, and stability signals strength. In the end, emotional control is not about hiding emotions. It is about mastering them. Because the strongest man is not the one who never feels anger, fear, or disappointment. It is the one who refuses to let those emotions decide who he becomes. And that quiet mastery is often far more powerful than any display of force. We live in a world that constantly encourages people to seek approval. Everywhere you look, individuals are measuring their value through the opinions of others. They want recognition. They want attention. They want reassurance that they are important. Without realizing it, many people become addicted to validation. Their confidence depends on compliments. Their happiness depends on acceptance. Their self-worth depends on how others respond to them. This creates a dangerous cycle, because the moment your value is determined by external approval, your emotional stability is no longer under your control. You become vulnerable to every opinion. Every criticism feels personal. Every rejection feels devastating. Every moment of indifference feels like a threat. Most people spend years chasing validation without realizing the cost. The more approval they seek, the more power they give away. Their decisions become influenced by what others expect. Their behavior becomes shaped by fear of judgment. Eventually, they stop living according to their own standards and begin living according to everyone else's. But truly powerful individuals follow a different path. They understand that approval is temporary, opinions change, attention comes and goes. Praise today can become criticism tomorrow. For this reason, they build their confidence on something more stable. They build it on self-respect. Self-respect does not depend on applause. It does not require constant recognition. It comes from knowing that your actions align with your values, whether others notice or not. This is what makes a person unshakable. They are no longer controlled by external reactions. Success does not make them arrogant. Failure does not destroy them. Praise does not inflate them. Criticism does not break them. They remain centered because their identity comes from within. In relationships, this quality becomes incredibly attractive. Many people enter relationships hoping the other person will provide the confidence they lack. They seek validation through affection. They seek security through attention. They seek worth through acceptance. But emotionally mature individuals bring their confidence with them. They do not ask someone else to create it. As a result, they appear stronger, calmer, and more independent. There is a quiet certainty about them, a sense that they would be fine whether they received approval or not. And that certainty creates respect. Because nothing is more powerful than a person who knows their worth without needing constant reminders from the world. In a society obsessed with validation, the rarest form of strength is becoming someone who no longer depends on it. And the moment you achieve that, you become far more difficult to influence, manipulate, or shake. You become anchored in yourself. And that is where true power begins. By now, it becomes clear that attraction is not simply about appearance, charm, or status. While these qualities may capture attention, they rarely sustain it. Lasting desire is created by something much deeper. It emerges from a quality that influences every interaction, every decision, and every aspect of a man's presence. That quality is self-possession. Self-possession is the ability to remain connected to yourself regardless of external circumstances. It is the ability to maintain your identity without becoming dependent on validation, approval, or constant reassurance. Most people lose themselves when emotions become intense. They become consumed by attraction. They become controlled by fear of loss. They abandon their priorities in order to secure attention. Without realizing it, they begin revolving around another person. And the moment this happens, attraction often starts to weaken. Because desire thrives when two complete individuals come together, not when one person depends on the other for their sense of worth. This is why self-possession creates such a powerful effect. A man who possesses himself cannot be easily manipulated by praise. He cannot be controlled by rejection. He cannot be distracted from his purpose by temporary emotions. His sense of identity remains intact, regardless of what happens around him. This creates a powerful sense of certainty. People naturally trust individuals who know who they are. They feel drawn toward those who move through life with direction rather than confusion. In relationships, this quality often becomes unforgettable. Not because it creates distance, not because it creates coldness, but because it creates respect. And respect is one of the foundations upon which lasting attraction is built. When a man knows his value, he does not need to constantly prove it. When he respects himself, he does not tolerate behavior that violates his standards. When he has purpose, he does not abandon his path simply to gain approval. This creates a quiet strength that others can feel, a strength that does not need to announce itself, a strength that speaks through actions rather than words. Ultimately, the masculine trait that creates lasting desire is not dominance, perfection, or control over others. It is mastery over oneself. Because the man who has learned to govern his emotions, protect his self-respect, and remain committed to his purpose possesses something incredibly rare. He possesses inner stability. And in a world filled with uncertainty, inner stability becomes magnetic. It creates trust. It creates respect. And over time, it creates the kind of desire that does not fade when circumstances change. Because what people admire most is not someone who controls the world around them. It is someone who has learned to control themselves.